everyone. You may have heard words like millennial or baby boomer, but do not know what they mean. Let me explain. This is part of a generational theory, which explains the generations that people grew up in and might show how they shaped the world. This really only works for North Americans or Europeans. The first recognized generation in modern American history is the Lost Generation, the generation born between the 1880s and 1900. This generation grew up through British and French colonialism, at least at its height, and saw the beginning of flight, World War I. Many of the members of this generation fought in this war, the 1920s, and the Great Depression. The next generation is the Greatest Generation, the generation born between 1901 and 1927. This generation grew up during World War I and the 1920s and came of age in the Great Depression and World War II. So many members of this generation fought in World War II that this is the generation with the most veterans. Then we have the Silent Generation, the generation born between 1927 and 1945, the generation that grew up during the Great Depression and World War II and came of age in the 1950s. Joe Biden is the only U.S. president from this generation. And then we have the baby boomers, the first generation born after World War II, between 1946 and 1964, and came of age during the 1960s, and saw the beginning of television, the Apollo 11 moon landing, and the Vietnam War. Generation X, born between 1964 and 1980, is the generation that came of age in the 1980s, the Reagan administration. Then there are millennials, a generation born between 1980 and 1995. This generation came of age around the 2000s, hence the name millennials, and all the events of the 2000s. 9/11 and the Great Recession. The last generation I'll talk about is Generation Z, the generation born between 1995 and the late 2000s, the generation that grew up during the early days of the internet. It came of age around 2010.